Hello, ladies and gentlemen. My name is Phay, and welcome to the channel. You know, I like having conversations with kids. Grown ups never ask me what my third favorite reptile is. Today, we're taking a look at Marvel Age of Heroes from WizKids. Marvel Age of Heroes from WizKids is an epic strategy game in which each player commands a duo of X-Men who are dispatched to defeat villains and complete objectives in unique and challenging scenarios. The winning team is going to collect resources, manage their skills, they're going to train mutants, they're going to try to outpace a competition, earn victory points along the way. Whichever team can manage to earn the most victory points wins. But how does it play? Well, let me explain that and then I'll give you my final thoughts. So to play the game, the first thing you need to do is get it set up. Now there's 4 pages of rules on how to set up the game, plus the scenario that you're using is going to have some special setup in that. So I'm not going to cover setup in this particular video. I'm going to assume you already have the game set up where you know how that is done. We're just going to kind of get into gameplay. All right. So starting with the first player, and you look at the turn order track, and whoever's on the top is going to go first. You're just going to work down that line, and turn order is going to probably change from round to round to round. So you always want to pay attention to that. Okay. But we have 3 phases of the game. We have the institute phase, we have the mission phase, and then we have the end of round. All right, so in the institute phase, okay, during that, what you're going to do is you're going to take one of your superheroes that's on your board and you're going to place it in one of the various institute locations that happen to be on the board. Okay, now the locations you can go is you can go to the X-Jet. Now the X-Jet's going to allow you those superheroes to be able to take missions later on, and that's how you're going to try to defeat some of the enemies, and that's where you're going to get a lot of your points. Kind of really want to do this. Whoever goes first is going to be able to play a mission card into one of the rows. Once you place your mission card down, you put one of your little discs up top saying that you have recruited that one. And if anybody goes there, then you're going to get the bonuses for that. And in missions, it's always 3 victory points. If you go to your own, then you're not going to get those victory points. So you don't collect what's yours unless something certain happens that allows you to be able to do that. You have the headmaster's office. The headmaster's office right above that in the upper left-hand corner. What that lets you do, there's 4 locations there. Not always all of them are active, depends on the number of players, but the top 2 are going to allow you to be able to draw cards. Now, what's going to happen is if you go to the top 2, the first thing you have to do is if you have any cards in your hand, you have to discard a card into the Xavier's protocol area, okay, in one of the empty spaces. If all the spaces are full, you just discard a card and put your card in that place. And then, depending on whether you go to the 3 spot or the 2 spot, you're going to draw that many cards. Now, you can either draw them blind or you can draw them from the face up, and you can even draw the card that you just placed. So if you have really good cards in your hand, you can put it down, but then pick it back up and get 2 more cards, however you want to do it. The bottom 2 spaces, if they're open, you can go there, and all that's going to do is just get you one of the 3 resources of your choice. All right. Once that's done, then you're just going to kind of move right along down the rows, okay, and see what we can do. And to that, so from there, you have the medical bay. Now, the medical bay, when you place your character there, what that's going to do is it's going to allow you to play an event card from your hand. The event cards have the little brown triangles on them. And you just basically go there, you play whatever the event is from your hand, you just do the instructions, okay, and then discard that particular card. The last thing that those 2 spaces are going to allow you to do is they're going to let you manipulate the turn order track. So when you go there, what you're going to do is you're going to put your disc to the left of whatever of the turn order, and you can pick whatever's open. So like if you're the first one to go there, you can actually be player 1 next turn. If you want to be last, be last. It's your game, and it all depends on how it's going. But that's what those 2 spaces are going to do, is they're going to allow you to play events. The next one over is Cerebo. Cerebo, what it's going to do is on its 2 spaces, it's got the one to the left. It's going to let you play one of the ally cards from your hand. Now, when you play an ally card from your hand, what you're doing is you're taking one of those cards, it's going to have a little green circle on it, and you're placing it in one of the locations that allows for those ally cards. Now, those ally cards are going to be additional locations that people can go to. You put it down, you put your recruit on top of it, but if somebody goes to one of those locations and then they're going to do the action, but you're going to get the benefit from whatever the recruiting is, okay? If you go to your own, you don't collect it, then again, unless you have some other means to be able to do it. The one to the right, what that does is that lets you play an evolution card. So on the bottom of your player board, you got a spot where you can put these evolution cards down. Okay, and those evolution cards are just going to make your team more powerful along the way. Now, the first one or two may be free, but the other ones may cost more resources, or they may cost resources in order to play them. You just pay those resources to put the card down. And then those are cards are going to give you special abilities. You can use those special abilities throughout the game when the time calls for, and you may have to pay additional resources to be able to use those as well. All right. Keep going over from that. You got the danger room. The danger room is basically going to get you 4 physical resources. Next to that is the research lab. The research lab is going to get you 3 mental resources. And then the dormitories is going to get you, well, 2 willpower. And it's 4, 3, and 2 because that tells you which one's harder to get. Guarantee. Well, as you can tell, the dormitories, you're going to get 2. That's the hardest one to get. All right. And that's why it's so low. But those are the locations you can go to, all right? You're going to be able to go to the XJet or anything else in that institute. You can go to any of the different players or whatever. All right. Now, once you're done taking your turn, then if you don't have anything else you want to do or you're done, you can pass. Once you pass, what you're going to do is you are going to be able to manipulate the turn order track, which means you just take one of your discs and you put it wherever you want in that particular turn order track. If no one's got a disc up there, you can put it up on the very top and go first. If someone's got a disc, you can put it right underneath those. Okay. And that is basically going to tell you what the turn order is going to be in the next round. Once everybody's done with that, then you can go into the mission phase. Okay, the mission phase, what you're going to do is you're going to go over to the XJet and you're going to work top down. Now, whoever's on the top can choose what do they want to do. They can go to one of the different missions that are out on the board. All right, they can go all the way over to the right, and it's like the recruiting zone. You know, I always forget what that particular one is called, but you can always go all the way over to that one. And get whatever it's going to be. It might be a resource, or it might be pay like a yellow and you can actually draw a couple cards, but that's going to change every few rounds. Or what you can do is you can actually, the extraction zone, or what you can do is you can take your guy and you can actually go put him on one of the bad guys that's on there. Now, you're going to notice all of the bad guys, and they're kind of random how they work, how they come out, but you're going to have a board and you're going to have that the bad guy's on, and then you're going to have another board that attaches to the side of it. Okay. And this is what changes their abilities and their toughness throughout the game. So you're going to notice on their board, it's going to show you which sections of that character need to be hit in order to do damage to them. Now, the mission cards, if those have you do damage to a certain color, you would just put your disc on that particular color and you gain those victory points and you're good to go. But if you want, you can actually go to the left-hand side, and sometimes it's cheaper. You just pay the resources for it, still put your disc up there and still get the victory points. Okay, and you're trying to do that because once you can cover all those, you're going to be able to defeat that particular monster. Then you're going to be able to do the when defeated action. All right. Some of them are going to have you bring others in. Some may have you reveal who the final boss is. It all varies between the different missions you're going to do, but you need to be able to do damage to them in order to get the victory points. Okay. But you're going to keep going down the XJet until all of that stuff is complete. Once everybody's completed and everybody's taken their turn, all right, then you're going to go to the end of round. So on the end of the round, some of the cards may have the end around ability or something like that. You just kind of take care of those, do whatever you need to for there. Everyone pulls all of their superheroes back. If you have any student pawns that have been put on the board, those just go back into the supply. Those never go to your board. But if you don't use them, they stay on your board and you can hold them from turn to turn to turn. All right. Every player is going to take back their disc that's on the current turn order track, and the new ones are all going to slide over. And if no, so everyone should have a disc up there because, well, everyone would have passed. All right. Then once that's done, you move the turn order track over. When the turn order track gets to, I think it's like 4, 7, and 9, I think it is, or something like that, then you're going to have a different tile that's going to be revealed over in, again, the extraction zone. All right. And that's basically, so the extraction zone is always going to change as it goes. Okay. Then what you're going to do is you're going to look over at Xavier's protocols. If there is less than 4 cards up there, you're going to fill up the first 4 rows, okay, or the first 4 slots. I just slide them over and fill them up. If there's a total of 8 cards already up there and it's totally full, then you discard every single one of them before new ones out. But if there's 4 through 5, 6, or 7 of them up there, no new cards come out, and you just kind of leave it where it is. All right. And this is going to keep going and going and going until finally you trigger the end of the game. Now, the end of the game can be triggered based on the different missions they are. It may be to kill the main villain in the game, maybe to do something else. But once you guys trigger the end of the game, you're going to look on the victory point track. Whoever has the most victory points wins Marvel Age of Heroes. Okay, so one of the co-designers of Age of Heroes is Rodney Thompson. Now, Rodney Thompson is one of the designers of Lords of Waterdeep, or the designer of it. All right. And you can actually kind of feel Lords of Waterdeep in this game, just kind of the way you're placing your allies out and placing the missions out. It's kind of like you're doing the buildings in the Lords of Waterdeep. So if you like Lords of Waterdeep and you like Marvel, it's kind of to me it's not the same game, but there's some feel of it that's actually really good. Now this particular game, I do have some pros and cons in this game. I will say this up front. I do like this game. I actually enjoy this game, and it's a lot of fun. I like the challenge of being able to take your superhero group, trying to figure out how you're going to evolve it. Depends on the scenario. You may want to evolve a bunch. You may not want to evolve a bunch. It really all depends on how everything's working for you. But I do like how that plays. I like how the students come into play, and you can actually play a student out in place of your hero in some of the locations. And they're going to get basically a lot of the same abilities. Now, the students cannot go to the X-Jet, all right? Only heroes can go to the X-Jet, but there's some cards and stuff that allow you to put your students onto some of those mission cards, and you can actually take the bonuses from them. You pay whatever it is, and the student can actually fulfill it, which is actually kind of really nice because it's another little way that those students can be involved. And there's some other locations or there's some other ally cards that allow you to, like say, get victory points if a student is put there, so you can get resources in that. But if it's just a hero, we'll give you the resources, but we're not going to give you their victory points, for example. Okay, so the students are a nice little touch. Now, every player board and every duo is totally different in this game, and that's another thing I really like about this game. And all the player boards on top of that are all dual-sided. So there is a basic side to them. When you play the basic side, a lot of times they say, just go ahead and use the recommended evolution cards. You can pick whatever you want, but you're only going to get a set number. But if you flip your board over and you go to the advanced side, then it's going to change up a little bit more, and you're going to have more abilities and stuff like that. It's just kind of a different way to play it, all right, which is nice. You're not always playing it on that basic level. So that's a really cool change up between that. I like how the 3 tracks are. You kind of zigzag your little cubes through there. You got a max number of resources you can get on each one of the 3, which is 10, and you can never go below 0, which is really nice. And some of the things you need, 9 resources. So you may build those tracks all the way up, and then they're all back down to nothing again. All right. Just depends on how the different bad guys that come out, what kind of damage they're going to need, and how that's all going to work out. So I really like how those player boards work. Another thing that's really cool too is I do like the combination between the allies and the different events, and even with the missions as well. I mean, there's only the 3 different types of cards, but the thing is if you can get a lot of those allies in play and you're the recruiter for them, that's a lot of benefits that you're actually going to be able to get. I mean, there's a lot of heroes and stuff that are going to be bouncing along the boards, and a lot of those allies, the spaces are going to be used. So if you can get a lot of those on the board, it's just a bonus for you because you're going to keep getting all this extra stuff. You may get to draw a card, you may get a free student, you may get a free resource or something like that, just for somebody going and taking one of the actions for a card that you put down. That's another really cool thing I like about the game. Okay. Now, one of the things about the game that can be a disadvantage, I know one of the guys that I was playing with, he kept being last every particular round. And being last, you're going to have a huge disadvantage because you're never going to be able to go to that space probably to be able to recruit allies, because that's almost the first space is taken every single round by whoever's player 1. But one of the things that I find is you can manipulate that. I mean, if you're the last player in the game and you want to be that first player, all right, well, get an event card in your hand, go play an event right off the bat, and set yourself up for first player next turn. Then do the rest of your actions. Go get some resources and figure out how you want to set that up, okay? Just because you're last this round doesn't mean you're going to be second or third or fourth or whatever it's going to be the next round. You can manipulate that. You can change that whenever you want by going to one of those 2 different locations. I do like how that works. You're not always sitting there saying, oh, well, I'm 4th. Next round I'm going to be 3rd. Next round I'm going to be 2nd. No, if you're 4th and you want to be 1st, go play an event. If you don't have an event, go over to the headmaster's office, draw some cards, try to get some events in your hand. That deck has it's like equidistant between or equidistant. I think it has the same number of events versus allies versus missions. It's got a bunch of them in there. So if you're not drawing them, they should be there, okay? Or if any, there's some out front, and you can just take those. Now, one of the things, kind of one of the draws that I had on the game is the variety of cards. I do like a lot of the cards that come out. Some of the cards aren't as powerful as others. However, there's some cards that, like I said, you're probably not going to want to play, and you may not want to play, and you're wondering, why is this even in the game? But I believe they're there because of some of the character dual combinations you have. Like, for example, there's one card that's you play that event card, you get a resource, and everybody else gets a resource. So you're thinking, oh, why would I want to play it? Well, if you happen to have a character that, say, I think I was playing, who was it, Gambit. If Gambit goes and plays an event card and he has an evolution to play, well, he's going to get victory points for doing that. So he would play that card just because, yeah, we're all going to get resources. I'm going to help you out a little bit, but you know what? I'm also going to get 4 victory points, which is going to move me up that track a little bit. So they may not be the best cards, but there may be another reason why you might want to play them. And with all the different duo combinations there are and all the different evolution cards you have, one reason or another, that card may want to come into play, and you may still want to play that card. Okay. But it didn't seem to me like there was a real super huge variety of cards. A lot of the allies kind of did similar things and whatnot, but it was still good. I still enjoyed it, and I still liked it. Now, one of the things with the game, and it seems like this was a kind of a repetitive, all right, and this is probably my last main negative on it, would be some of or a lot of the damages that you're going to do to the bad guys. It takes a lot of resources. Every now and then, I can set it up to where I might be able to get 2 of my heroes down in the X-Jet, and I can maybe do 2 different types of damage to them. But that's kind of rare, and that happens here and there. I don't find it a lot, unless a lot of those easy ones happen to be open. Because what I find is, you want to go for the ones with the big victory points, of course, but the ones with the big victory points, you might have close to max out on a lot of your resources, and they're just going to suck dry half the resources you have. So trying to find those combinations of how can I do 2 different points of damage to like one guy, how can I hit 2 different areas, or how can I hit both of the ones that I have out there for 1 and 1? Can I manipulate that? I did like that as a puzzle, trying to figure it out. How can I do that? But it was really hard to accomplish in one round in a lot of cases. And I think with the more characters and more players in the game, it gets even harder to do that as well. But it was still enjoyable. I still had fun. And the thing is if you get one hero down there and he does damage, you can always go over and do something else. Somebody may have put an ally card that you can go to during the missions or whatever. Now, one thing I did like about those is if you wanted to, you can just put your hero directly on whoever you're fighting, put him on his slot, pay his resources, and he's there. Now, and the thing about that is sometimes it's cheaper to do that, but if that villain happens to get defeated that particular round, or minor guy or minion or whichever one he is, if he happens to get defeated the round that you have your guy on there, well, you get to take him and you get to go put him back on one of the other spaces on the mission track, which is actually really cool. He's actually going to get 2 benefits. He's going to go up there, he's going to do some damage, he's going to get you some victory points. Now you get to bring him back. Even if it's to come back over and only get like a resource or something, he's going to get you something, okay? There's something you're going to be able to do with him. Maybe you can go to another mission, and maybe other resources, you can go hit the other guy in a different location. That I really liked. But myself, personally, I like Lords of Waterdeep. I've always had fun with it. I like fantasy stuff. I like Marvel. I like the superhero themes, and I like this game as well. I think this is a great game. I think if you like Lords of Waterdeep, I think you're going to enjoy this game. I think if you like Marvel and you like Lords of Waterdeep, I think you're going to enjoy it even more. I think the theme is going to help make this game better for some people than other people. But on the whole, I think it's a great game. It's got a fantastic production. I love the components. I love how the characters change up every time you're playing them, because you don't know what damage cubes are going to be for one guy because you have the different tracks and you're putting them on the side. Absolutely love that. I think this is a fun game. Me personally, I would recommend this game. I think it's very enjoyable. Well, thank you once again for joining me today. As always, I please ask you to like this video on YouTube, on Board Game Geek, on Facebook, or even on X. Please leave me a comment on any one of those platforms, and I'll get to those comments just as soon as I can. And also, folks, if you like the videos that I do here, if you haven't done so already, I humbly ask you to click on that subscription button and even click on that bell to be notified when I drop new videos. And also, if you like the videos I do here, I also post videos over on the Discriminating Gamers channel. Over there, we'll do some unboxings and playthroughs and some reviews. I'll leave a link to Cody's channel down in the details below. So what do you call a belt made out of watches? A waste of time.